out our notes on page 39. So this is some probability basics. So when you look at the spinner, you can see that there are 7 spots on the spinner. And so there are 7 total pieces. The sample space is the list of all possible outcomes. You could have a black, a gray, or a white. And so that's listing all of the sample spaces. If you spun it one time, the probability that it would land on gray, remember, probability is how many give you what you want out of how many total. There are 2 gray out of the 7 total, so there's where we get 2 out of 7. When you see this is an abbreviation for saying the probability of spinning gray. So when you go down to number 4, if you spun the spinner one time, again, this is going to mean the probability of spinning black. So you look, there's 1 black, so that's how many give you what you want out of how many total? 7. So that's why that one's 1/7. If you spun the spinner one time, what would be the probability of not getting gray? Oops, sorry. Well, you would count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 white and 1 black. So there's 5 would be the probability of not getting gray. So 5 doesn't give or gives you what you want out of the 7 total. If you spun it one time, what's the probability of getting white or black? Well, again, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them that are either white or black. So it's 5 out of 7. Now down here, we're going to draw a tree diagram. If I can figure out how to show you that part. So yeah, let's look at it. If you're rolling a dice, 1 to 4, so it's a 4-sided dice, and then you're flipping 1 coin and getting either heads or tails. Well, your choices, your outcomes for the dice are 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could roll any of those numbers. But it doesn't really matter what you roll. That's not going to change the effect of the coin. So if I rolled a 1, I could still flip either a heads or a tails. If I rolled a 2, I could still flip a heads or a tails. If I rolled a 3, I could still flip a heads or tails. Same way with 4. If I rolled a 4, I could still flip a heads or tails. This is a tree diagram, and it's going to help you list all of the possible outcomes for your problem. So just to practice, let's list all of them so we can see the organization. You'll list 1 H for 1 heads, and then 1 T, 1 tails, and then you'll see 2H, 2T, 3H, 3T, 4H, 4T. So you could list them out, and then just keeping in mind that the tree diagram is a way to organize to make sure you don't miss any of them. Then I went ahead and I made it look like a table just so I could see all 8 different outcomes, and because they kind of looked like they were running into each other. So I drew lines and made it look like a table. Then right here it says, what's the probability of rolling an even number and a heads. So when you look at the even numbers, it would have to be it'd have to be these and these, but it's not just the even, it also needs a head. So out of these 4, this one would be an even number and a head, and this one would be an even number and heads. And so there's 1, 2, 2 give you what you want out of 8 total. When you simplify that fraction, you get 1/4. Thank you for watching.